Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Terrible Advice with Loki Hates You. It is noon, December 29th, 2016. Even though... Oh no, I did set the YouTube title correctly, so that's a win for me. Hooray! Hooray for technology. And hooray for me. Welcome one, welcome all. Welcome big and welcome small. Welcome you and welcome me. Welcome to the Bering Sea, which this is not. This is terrible advice with Loki Hates You. So I just figured out how to put this image up on the screen, so that's nice. And you're all here. And I'm here. And Carol's here. Hi, Carol. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Chris. Hi, Wraith. Hi, Mina. It's so nice to have everyone. The holidays are over. And they were so overwhelming that I forgot to do a stream on Monday at 6. I'm toying with the idea... Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. If there's going to be a second stream. It's between Christmas and New Year's, so... you know, everyone's on vacation. Why do I need to be on full time? I've been... Hey, Nikki. I've been working hard creating a mock-up for a collectible, not a collectible card game, but a card game that I would like to publish, hopefully in the next year. I want to start playtesting it soon. And man, I have been just wailing on this thing since Christmas Eve. And let me show you. I got pages of notes about what this game's gonna be. It just keeps going on and on. And yeah, this is my notebook of brilliant ideas. And man, I think this card game is the most inspired I've been. Now, that's not to say that it's a good game, that it's a good idea, but it's you know, it's hopefully going to turn into something that I can at least say, hey, I made this, and that's all I'm really looking to have for myself. Okay. So Chris, yes, I did. So a couple of you got a phone call from me. Everyone that called in last time, I accidentally tried to... I have to start a Google Hangout in order to have this that you're looking at. Like, this is a Google Hangout window. And in order to start one, basically, I haven't figured out how to just start one where I'm the only person in it. And so I have to call one of my other email addresses in order to make a window pop up. So this week I was like, oh, what if I just use the one I used last week that had everyone in it? It's not going to call everyone, surely. And that's absolutely what it did. It called everyone on that list. And I didn't mean to call everyone on that list. So if anyone that I did call wants to call in, I'm looking at you, Chris. I'll be glad to send you the link to this one. Let me just grab that link, copy the link, and close that down. I will be glad to send you an invite. Matter of fact, you know what, Chris? I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. There you are. And Chris, there's your link if you want to join in. Just have a question ready. That's all I ask. I don't necessarily want people calling in just to chit-chat. I need something to go off of, and typically if people call just because they want to talk, we end up just saying, like, how are you doing? I'm good. How are you? That's good. Well, great to be here, everybody. So, guys, you know, feel free to just let me know, Wraith, if you wanna talk about something. I have your email address, so I can very easily send you a link. But other than that, I am completely consumed by this card game lately. I'll just adjust this a little bit more. Right, that's about right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, Wraith did do a video. Wraith, you should post the link to that video up so everyone can see the conceptual art piece that you have created as a result of this very broadcast from an earlier date. You've got your question ready. Well, Jessica, send me an email. Do I already have your email? If you want to do a call, just send me an email at the link listed on this, at the bottom of this page right here. This Loki surely hates you at gmail.com. Send an email to that, and I will send you a link to join this very Google Hangout for Saturday, my personal send-off to 2016. Yeah, so let's talk about that, guys. The fuck 2016 hashtag. I understand what's happening right now. Like, I get it. People are watching tragedy unfold before their very eyes, and that's unfortunate. What I will say is that I don't view a hashtag or a social media post that equates a human life being lost to essentially the equivalent of, hey, you know, this death is one of many that I'm angry about because it affects me on a fandom level. I can't get behind that. Christina, if you want to join in, the reason why I don't just post the link publicly is because I don't want 8 people joining at once. Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking to Wraith. Never mind. So, anyways, getting back to the fuck 2016 posts. What happened to the moment of silence? What happened to people taking their time to mourn respectfully and quietly and not making their loss into a meme or a, you know, I don't even know what to call it. A cry for help, a cry for attention. Like, and it's fine if you need attention, but the thing is, if you post on Facebook, like, I'm so sad about Carrie Fisher, there's like a 0.002% chance that the conversation that's going to ensue from that, I shouldn't say that. There's a fairly good chance that the conversation that's going to ensue from you making a Facebook or a Twitter post about Carrie Fisher or about David Bowie, oh, here comes Chris, is going to result in respect. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Going good, Bill. Going good. Pretty much. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm a little pale. I need to get out a little bit. I've been basically just in front of this computer screen for the past 5 days, just like tapping away. So I'm happy to have a little company. How's the weather over in Florida?
Well, sunny and a little too warm, but pretty much hang in there, you know.
How warm is it over there?
81.
Oh my God. Well, tell me, Chris, what do you got in the chamber today? What's bothering you?
Well, I think what I guess is what's on everybody's mind is,
here it comes.
One thing about this year is about all the celebrities that kick the bucket.
Yeah.
And I guess my advice to you would be, if you're a celebrity what's the best way to avoid meeting the Grim Reaper in the next few days?
So you want me to give advice, just open letter to all celebrities to avoid the onslaught of 2016 deaths?
Yes, especially in the next 2 days, I think, that's left of the year. Because 2016's been on a roll, if that's a little too soon for me to say.
Yeah, Chris, this is exactly actually what I was just talking about right before you joined up, is that
Oh, really?
I don't know, man. Like, this topic isn't a topic. Like, this is somebody's life that was lost, and to make it into the internet meme that it is seems almost disrespectful. Like, there's real people dying, and they're not dying of like whimsical. Like, this isn't a celebrity who's wasted their life, and we all know that they've been drinking too much, and it just so happens that they ended up like in some sort of slip and fall thing. Even then, death is tragic. But like, people are dying of cancer and heart failure, and man, it is depressing. And I think honestly, the best way, here's the thing. The best way to make the world a better place for celebrities and civilians and everyone in general is to not get superstitious and to not start acting like we're all gonna die because the year 2016 as an entity has risen up and started killing everyone. The truth is, people are dying, celebrities are dying at the same rate, but the internet's getting more reactionary, and the internet's getting to the point now where people can look at their past posts and say, oh, hey, that thing that happened when, what's his name? David Bowie. Let's say David Bowie. When David Bowie died, I posted that I was sad, and I posted, rest in peace, David Bowie, and that got me more attention than if I had posted about, oh, I had a really good cheeseburger today. And that fucks with me because there are people right now who are getting famous and going viral with memes that are like so disrespectful. And it's like, Carrie Fisher in a body bag, and it's got like a body bag, and it's some joke about Carrie Fisher or whoever just died, George Michael or whatever it is. And I refuse to be that guy that's like, oh yeah, this is what my content is going to be about, is jokes making light of the fact that someone lost a family member. Like, and I don't want to be a downer, but like, it has a name attached to it. Like, even if I were to say celebrities that died in 2016, everyone knows I'm talking about Carrie Fisher. Everyone knows I'm talking about George Michael. Everyone knows I'm talking about Prince and David Bowie and Professor Snape there. So, I can't tastefully...
But you have to admit...
Yeah,
but you have to admit, so far, Keith Richards is still alive.
Who?
That counts for something.
Keith Richards?
Keith Richards. Yeah. There's already some people making memes about him saying that he survived 2016 so far.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, is now all, like, we're a culture that's obsessed with death, and then, but not only with death, but like the morbid humor that stems from it. And immediately people are turning to, form a circle around Betty White or Stan Lee or Keith Richards or other celebrities.
I'll say Stan Lee.
Stan Lee's what?
I'll tell you, Stan Lee is still alive. But I'll tell you one thing: the day that the inedible does happen, I would not be shocked that every single Comic-Con of that year would be like a morning.
Well,
It'd be
yeah.
like,
But the thing is, that's right and good for people to mourn and be respectful. Like if at every comic convention after the death of Stan Lee, there was a short moment of silence at noon on Saturday. I think that would be very respectful, and that would be a great show of solidarity and not compassion, but just respect for a man who gave a lot to the industry.
I understand. For me, I understand where you're coming from. Like, death is not funny. Okay, we can all agree that death is not funny. I guess what we're trying to say is that sometimes we have different ways of coping with loss. One of those, you might say, is a bit of humor. Now, sometimes humor is kind of like a double-edged sword. You have to be very careful, not to offend everybody. But then again, this is social media. You always end up offending somebody on this.
I don't. I think the "you're always going to offend somebody" mentality, so why even bother? Thing is, it's a little tough to defend because honestly, the amount of effort it takes to not do something that's blatantly disrespectful, the amount of effort that it takes to do that is zero. That being said, yes, some things are gonna slip. You're gonna say something that's funny, that you think is funny, and then it ends up being something that someone disagrees with morally, and that happens, and you apologize, and it's fine. But to be completely unapologetic and to say like, oh well, someone's always gonna be offended, it just means that you're not willing to try for progress. However, coming back to the death thing, I don't mind people saying a short, or even a long, sentimental, respectful post that's like, Carrie Fisher had a huge influence on my life. Thank you for all you've done. Rest in peace. Even if it's 2 pages long, great. That's great. To make it centered around the self that's posting it, when what was his name? Anton Yelchin died. It bothered me because it wasn't about Anton Yelchin. It was about
how he died.
No,
it
wasn't that either. It wasn't that either, Chris. It was people saying how bad of a day they were having because Anton Yelchin died. And it's like, oh, I've been crying all day. I am personally affected by Anton Yelchin's death. And it's like, well, go fucking take a break. Go lay in bed for a while. Like, take your time to mourn. Don't make an announcement about how sad you are because someone actually died. Like, this isn't about you. You don't go to a fucking funeral and say, man, this is such a bad day for me. Especially, like, if it's not someone close to you. Especially, like, if you're going to talk, like, you're going to go to a place where you're not a direct family member or a close friend of the person who's passed. And you're going to look into a casket and then look somebody in the eye who's the mother, father, brother, or sister of this person, or son or daughter, and say, like, hey, I'm sorry about this death, but, geez, it's been a really bad day for me hearing about this. Like, God damn, like, how insensitive can you get? Just say, if there's anything I can do, let me know. And then you move on. And put some good into the world. But don't say how bad the world is because you're suffering. Like, and this isn't, like, meant to be aimed at you, Chris. This is, like, just some behaviors I'm seeing. So,
yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't really want to address this question in a joking manner because I don't want it to be a joke. I don't want it to be a meme, and I don't want it to be.
I understand.
I don't want it to be a news topic.
For me, like I said, the best way to deal with hardship is, everyone has different coping skills. You know, it's death. Let's be honest, death is part of life. As depressing as that sounds, sadly, the truth is, sooner or later, I'm gonna drop dead. My family and friends are gonna drop dead. Loki's gonna die a third time in the upcoming movie. Spoiler alert. But you get what I'm trying to say is that sometimes people have different ways of mourning. You know, but I understand what they're saying. It shouldn't be taken as like as something to make fun of. I mean,
Yeah, I just question the mourning aspect of most of the content I'm seeing. There's a lot of people equating, and I mean Carrie Fisher's the most recent, the most easy to come up with, but it's Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. And while I'm sure Carrie Fisher is proud to have left the legacy of a very inspiring and well-beloved character, Princess Leia didn't die. Carrie Fisher died. So, if you want to do sort of a heartfelt piece of art or a poem that says, Princess Leia, you were a big inspiration to me, I think that's great. But if you want to phrase things in such a way that it's like, she made it through, like if you want to make a joke of like, oh, she made it through the destruction of the Death Star, but she couldn't make it through 2016. Like, that's not respectful. That's diminishing someone's life.
It all comes in context of how you portray something when dealing with like an event like that. It all comes down to context. Like what you just said. Yeah, that what I would find very tasteful of someone saying like, oh, she survived the Death Star, but she didn't survive 2016. Yeah, that I would agree that something like that in that type of form is kind of tasteful. So I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I don't even think that's tasteful. I think that Carrie Fisher deserves to be remembered as an actress, as as a loved one to her family and friends, and as someone who inspired through her craft.
And you have to give her credit for overcoming so much, because as we know, she dealt with addiction, and that's not easy to overcome.
And that's another thing, is that we get so much insight into the lives of celebrities that we're allowed to say, Carrie Fisher, she led a life where she was addicted to, whatever, drugs or chemicals or whatever other vices she may have had, where, again, if you walked into a real family member's funeral, it diminishes the sincerity of your condolences if you were to say, I'm so sorry for your loss, but Uncle Bob really had a problem with drinking. Like, it was bound to happen at some point. And it's like, well, fucking don't talk about Uncle Bob like that. Like, just leave it alone for a minute, So, I don't know. Like, I'd rather people were tiptoeing around this, and that, the major news networks run their in memoriam and their stuff like that, and people say what they have to say about inspiring stories, how Carrie Fisher affected their life, rather than how, like, if your concerns are like, well, how are they going to continue with the next Star Wars film if they can't have General Organa in the cast? And it's like, well, what are you worried about a movie for? Like, it's so unimportant in the grand scheme of things that
I agree.
That Princess Leia is featured in the next Star Wars movie, when real people are mourning about a real loss. So I guess the best way, the advice that I would give to celebrities in 2016 is to take this opportunity to say, like, guys, if I'm dead tomorrow, grant me this treatment. If you truly respect me, Either A, like my personal example is, if I'm dead tomorrow, I don't want anyone saying more than a sentence about it on social media. If you want to call your mother, call your brother, confide in your best friend about how you're really feeling and go on about it for hours, fantastic. But like, I would never, ever want people doing to my legacy, or, you know, I mean, I don't have a legacy. I'm a guy in a friggin' room here. But like, all I'm saying is, like, if I had worked my entire life to become a person of renown, and then at the end of my life I found out that my death was more funny than tragic, I guess it doesn't affect me. I'm dead, but like, you know, I think my family would be pissed, and I think they would suffer at least a small amount from seeing the way that people were treating it, the jokes people were making about it, the equations and the parallels that they were drawing from it. People saying, you know, my life is equal to other celebrities' lives that have been lost, when, you know, to my family, their son or whatever, brother, they don't want to hear about David Bowie when my name comes up. They don't want to talk about somebody that died 3 months ago. They don't even really want to talk about what just happened to me, or to you know, my brother or whatever. Like, if my brother died, and then the next day someone said, "Hey, I'm really sorry for your loss. Fuck 2016, right?" I think I would hit them. Like, I think I would hit them for being like, this isn't part of a trend. This death isn't one in an ongoing series of deaths. This was the death that matters closely to me, and I don't want to make this part of your meme or your joke or your hashtag. This is too important for that, and you should have known that before approaching me. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm taking this too seriously.
Oh, not at all. I mean, pretty, like I said, you know, death is definitely a very complicated but serious situation. But funny enough, everyone seems to deal with grief in very different ways. I mean, like, for example, I have a cousin who when a loved one died, she doesn't her best way to cope with the sadness is just, you know, to laugh a little, you know, not in a disrespectful way, but to remember the person during the good times, during that you know, that funeral.
I guess here's my question for you. All right, so everyone mourns in different ways, and sometimes humor is an outlet, and sometimes making light of it gives you a little closure. So here's the question: do you think that anyone in the entire world ever has gained any closure or comfort from typing in a hashtag and posting it to Twitter? Like, do you think that anyone has, like, done that and felt like, okay, now I can move on?
Truth is, no one could ever truly move on. You know, that's the thing about life.
People move on all the time. My grandparents have died. I you know, I don't cry about them every day. I don't think every day about, like, my God, I'm waking up to another day without my grandfather. Like, and yeah, it crosses my mind sometimes, but like, you do move on. You have to. People lose husbands, and, you know, closer. Of course,
that's what life is about. You have to move on. You can't just live in the past.
But you just told me people never move on. They never really truly move on. And I'm saying they do. They just don't do it through social media posts, which seems to be the most popular way that people are making an excuse to promote their brand. You know, to get more followers on Twitter, I'm going to post about Carrie Fisher pretending like I'm mourning, but the fact is, I'm just trying to jump on this wave.
Using a celebrity death to get brownie points or viewers, that I agree would be wrong.
And I guess what I'm saying is that that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing more of that than I'm seeing general, than I'm seeing like legitimate. I shouldn't say legitimate, but I'm seeing like heartfelt. I'm not seeing a lot of heartfelt mourning. I'm seeing a lot of,
jumping on the bandwagon.
bandwagon, and I'm seeing a lot of just like people joining in a conversation about a phenomenon rather than a human life. And I don't think that's respectful.
I agree. Sadly, unfortunately, that's what our society has mostly become since the birth of social media. Is that everyone? I guess it's human nature to want to be part of something. Then again, you also have to take in consideration, you know, about what you're jumping on the bandwagon. What are you? Why you're jumping on the bandwagon? Is it's basically is it morally right or morally wrong? You know, without being looking like you're disrespectful or anything. You don't want to. You know what I mean.
I know what you're talking about. I think we all have the same intentions for this. However, I think the intentions that we're not willing to admit sometimes are really what's poisonous about. It's what millennials get blamed for. It's what our culture sort of is mirroring a lot of dystopian science fiction about over is like.
Yeah.
Social media looks a lot like people who have no other
alternate reality.
Well, they have no good agenda. They have no good reason for saying the things they say and doing the things they do. It's not even self-serving. It's simply a method for sort of getting momentum rolling on whatever you're told to roll the momentum for. And I don't know. I just think the buck needs to stop at us as civilized, thinking human beings and being like, you know what? I don't need to post something that's hateful, and I also don't need to post something that, if it were really me and not a celebrity, if it were me in that position, I wouldn't want it posted about me because I'm a person who has feelings and thoughts and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being overly sensitive about it, but that's just how I feel.
Don't. It never hurts. It never hurts to be emotional sometimes.
Yeah.
Take it from me. Trust me. Take it from me.
Yeah.
I could tell you stories at another time about me being emotional. Trust me.
Right. So, Chris, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that I don't have to take quite as seriously?
Well, not that I can think of at the moment. Pretty much for me, I'm just waiting until the new year begins and see what the future holds. That's all we can do is go forward.
So, guys, so let's move forward. Let's see if there's any other callers that want to come in. Chris, is there any sort of New Year's wishes or self-promotion that you want to get in while you're here?
My New Year's resolution would be for all of us just to love one another, just to treat everybody with respect, especially on social media, because you know how much of a wild west social media can truly be.
Right.
That's like or better yet, my New Year's resolution, can we just take a moment just to go outside? Instead of just being locked in our house all day on the computer, just to go outside, wherever it be, a walk, or just say hello to neighbors, or go to the beach or a park. Just get out there in the world and not just be locked up in cyberspace.
Well, yeah, I need to go outside myself, so I think that's a New Year's resolution we can all kind of take to heart, especially, specifically me.
Yeah. Like I said, Bill, I thank you for everything. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I'm always up to talk to you about just about anything. I'm that type of guy.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, Chris. And, I'm around at least twice a week. Usually not more, but, you're always welcome to call in. And, obviously we don't hold back much. So, while I choose to give more humorous sort of mock advice on this broadcast. We can address more serious stuff, and we see where it goes. And everyone's welcome.
Exactly.
All right.
You have yourself a happy New Year.
You too, Chris. We'll see you. I don't know, probably next Monday.
Sure enough.
All right. Have a good one, Chris.
Take care.
So, guys, once again, if you want to call in, we don't necessarily need to talk about something funny or stupid. We don't necessarily need to talk about something serious. Whatever you're in the mood for. The terrible advice comes from things that I don't need to really hold higher than normal everyday issues. But there are certain things that I just won't cross the line on, and they're not going to make the greatest hits album or anything, but I'd rather be on the right side of history and saying, hey, this is how I really feel about it, rather than being the guy who's... Honestly, if I were getting paid for this, I could be called a sellout for doing the opposite and being like, oh yeah, let's make a joke about celebrity deaths. I don't want to do that. Even for the sake, especially for the sake of just self-promotion. So, if we can steer it away from that subject for the foreseeable future, that'd be fine. But any other questions I'm still open to, you can email me at loki.surely.hates.you@gmail.com, and I will be happy to engage you in whatever way you feel is most appropriate. So we had Sherry come in. Hi Sherry. Hi Candace. Hey Karen. Glad you guys are all here. Why does everyone base things on a new year? Yeah, I don't know. Shitty things are going to be happening next year too, I'm sure. Gotta set up the backup laptop. Alright, Wraith, we'll be happy to have you call in. Shannon's gonna try to quit smoking. Well, you know what they say. Yep, here I was just about to go into quitting smoking. So I'll tell you how my dad quit drinking. Was he started smoking. And then he quit smoking when he had a heart attack. So, don't do either of those. Don't chain addict, which is to say, stop one and immediately start another. And also, don't just, punish yourself. Like that thing where you have to smoke the entire pack of cigarettes until, you're sick of it. Don't do that either, because then you're probably going to have some sort of organ failure, and we don't want that for you. Best way to stop smoking, I would say, is Shannon, do you have a dog? I have some ideas for if you have a dog. I would also take a look at the money aspect. From my understanding, a pack of cigarettes now costs, in some states, close to $10. And that's 14 cigarettes? So you're looking at 75 cents a smoke. What you need to do is take your dog out on a walk. And the typical mode of operation here is you go on a walk with your dog looks around, it's got to pee on this, it's got to pee on that. Take your dog on a walk. When your dog takes a dump, I need you to pick that up in a plastic bag. Whether you do that or not, pick it up. Oh, you got a cat, so you got a litter box. This might be even easier. Whether it's dog or cat dump, you gotta get it in a plastic bag and take the filter end of your cigarettes and just use that dog dump to hold your cigarettes by the filter end. And leave them overnight to really soak in whatever flavor they can, and then put them back in the pack. And you can't buy another pack of smokes until you've smoked that entire pack at your own leisure. And the addiction will probably cause you to go for it once. You'll forget, and you'll grab one out of the pack, pop it in your mouth, light it up, and then you'll say, something doesn't taste right here. And I think that's pretty much cold turkey from that point forward. So that's a great way to I think get started. But I mean, if you want something a little less categorical, oh man, that's macabre. I mean, there's a lot of self-help books that have like really great sort of I don't want to say left of center, but unexpected methods of quitting your various addictions. And I have to come up with one in the next 30 seconds. Okay, but seriously, what if you just, instead of dog shit, you soak the filters of your cigarettes in like perfume or shampoo, some really chemically non-toxic situation. Soap. Washing your mouth out with soap. Okay, so you get some hand soap, some of the, the stuff that you keep next to your sink in your bathroom. Put the cigarette filters into that, and then let it dry overnight. And whenever you start to smoke, you're going to get a mouthful of soap. This is exactly what I'm going for, is the nail polish that tastes like shit. I'm going to tell you a story, or I'm going to tell you a fact I'm trusting you guys not to do it. I had a thumb sucking problem when I was a kid. It was my left thumb. That's still how I tell my left from my right, is I think if I was going to put a thumb in my mouth, which one would it be? And it's always the left. I can feel it. I can feel the urge to have this thumb in my mouth still. Like, I know the feeling of it. I had a thumb sucking problem until I was, man, that might have been all the way up into like late elementary school, early middle school. Like, I could not stop. And I think what ended up being the end of it was that nail polish. You put it on your fingernail and it just tastes like garbage water. Like, it tastes like pure bitter shit. And if you can make your cigarettes taste like shit in some way, and I don't even know how I don't know how smokers already don't think that cigarette tastes like shit. Like, they smell like shit. They have a certain... Here's the thing. In a movie, smoking cigarettes looks super duper sexy. Like, there's like a guy or girl, and she's like, she's kind of cool, and she's like, I see what's happening here. But as a non-smoker who's dated a smoker, I can tell you right now that if your significant other doesn't smoke, kissing you tastes like garbage. And I don't mean to direct that right at you, but to all smokers, like, Jesus, it is the worst. Wow. I try not to discriminate in my dating life at all, but cigarettes did it. Cigarettes have legitimately, when I was on the market, cut off a few people from the runnings because I can't deal with... Oof, just the taste of it is just so fucking gross. Moving on. So, keep in mind, you're losing sexy points potentially. Make your cigarettes taste like some sort of bullshit, whether that's a chemical or actual shit. Not your own, because you got to draw the line somewhere. But your pets, you know, their shit's funny. Like, their shit's like, you know, it came out of something adorable. It's like teddy bears pooping. It's probably chocolate. I assume dog poop is just chocolate. So it's bad. I mean, it's going to taste bad, but it's probably just as healthy as chocolate. No, it's not. Don't take that advice. That's gross. Oh, Wraith's going to watch Civil War. That's good. So yeah, make your cigarettes taste like garbage, and what else? What else can you do with this? I would say if you want to really quit, make either A, someone you truly care about who doesn't smoke, or B, someone you hate, someone you just absolutely can't stand to be around. Take your pack of cigarettes and give it to them. If it's your kid or your favorite little cousin or someone truly innocent who would never be corrupted. I guess no one that's under 18 though. Someone that you love and who doesn't smoke, give them your cigarettes, and every time you want to smoke, you have to go up to them and you have to look them in the eye and say, like, I need my stuff. Like, I gotta have my stuff, man. I gotta get my stuff, man. And you gotta go up to them and look them in their big, beautiful brown eyes and say, I'm too weak. Or you give it to someone you hate. And then the cigarettes you can actually still see as a good thing, because it'll be something that you have in your life to relax. But you have to go to a crappy place. You have to go to this son of a bitch who, you did this for a reason. You gotta do it. You gotta go up to them and be like, hey, Tony. Can I have a cigarette? And then Tony, since he's a dickhead, or she, whatever Tony you have in your life that you don't like. And I apologize to any Tonys who are good people out there. Tony, you know, talking about you. You're a good guy. Anyways, you go up to Tony and you're like, fuck. Give me a cigarette. And Tony's gonna be like, why? Why do you want a cigarette? Maybe I smoked them all. And you're like, fuck, this is why I hate you, Tony. And you gotta, like, beg. You gotta beg, Tony. See, Wraith, he's not always somebody who's willing to punch you. You could bury them in your backyard, or like get like a safe that has a really super complicated lock. Like get like a gun safe, wrap a chain around it with a combination lock, then like put that inside a cardboard box that's got like 4 or 5 ratchet straps around it, and every time you need a cigarette, you have to undo the ratchet straps, open up the box. You gotta do the combination lock, take the chain off. You gotta put the key code into the safe, open the safe. There's 1 cigarette in there, and then you take that cigarette, you smoke it. You've got to go into another safe that's in another cardboard box in another room, take 1 cigarette out, relock that whole son of a bitch, put that 1 cigarette back into the new safe, lock it up, chain it up, lock it up again, box it up, tape it up, ratchet strap it down. And that's all outside. Like, that's like 50 yards into your backyard. And it's a real big chore, and just make it so that you don't have to do that. Carol, let's not equate drinking. I mean, I don't like coffee kisses either, but I'll take coffee over smoking any day of the week. Still, though, it's pretty gross. You're right. Coffee is a pretty gross experience to kiss somebody. If you smoke a cigarette, you have to put the butts in, like a bottle of water, and that's all the water you can drink for the week. It's really about setting goals. You gotta set realistic goals that will make you want to throw up, and associate that throwing up with the addiction that you're trying to kick. New Year's resolutions are tough. There's stuff, I mean, there's additional challenges you can add on to this. The more you exercise, the harder it's going to be to deal with the smoking. Like, you may continue smoking, but then when you try to exercise, you're just going to be like, oh, fucking, this sucks. But, you know, give it a shot. See what you think about that. Hey, Nini. We got 10 minutes left. Let's see what we can make happen in the next 10 minutes. Is there anybody else who wants to talk about what they wanna do? I can tell you right now, I gave up drinking soda around late high school, and it was tough for a while. But I went for years without it, and it's actually crazy how much caffeine stops affecting you once you drink it every day. Hey, Jessica, just send me an email with the advice in the headline, and I'll send you back the link immediately. It won't. You can do all your talking once you're in the Google chat, so you don't need to like tell me what your question's going to be. I trust you not to pull your dick out in front of the camera while we're broadcasting live. That's really the biggest fear. Is that one of these days this will actually get popular enough that we're going to get trolled. And, you know, some dude's going to think he's funny and he's going to start waving his dick around or just spewing some sort of obscenities that are beyond what I already do, or talking about, like, something racially insensitive. I don't know. Nini, if you can cut out bread from your diet, you will be one of the most impressive people I have ever met. That is impossible. To not eat sugar or bread would be... I think I'd die. I think I would actually die. It might be the worst addiction I have is bread, sugar, maybe cheese. Cheese might be the final vestige of my sanity, where I don't eat it that much, but there's certain things where if I don't have it on there, I won't eat it. I won't eat a hamburger? Who eats a goddamn hamburger? What are you, nuts? Jeez. Hamburger. If it's not a cheeseburger, it's un-American. I'll tell you that right now. There's also certain types of cheese that are just no-nos in general. Oh, Nini, no. It's going to be tough. But I think you can find other loves. Maybe I don't know, some sort of vegetable chips. Those are really good and they're not bread. So if you can just make do with like buying some vegetable chips every week. Salt, you might end up with too much salt in your diet at that point. So I mean, it's always something. You know, there's never any pleasing the doctors. You're going to increase your cholesterol or something like that. Jessica, you should have a link available to you right now. What's the perfect diet? Let's figure that out right now. You get up in the morning, what are you going to eat? Cereal's got milk in it. Milk's full of hormones. It's also, the cereal itself is full of sugar. You could just have a handful of Kix. Fruit's good for you, but it's got a lot of sugar in it as well. So, you want to get some protein. You want to get some carbohydrates for energy. So what you're going to need is like a kale smoothie with tofu. Wait, no, soy's bad for you because it's got a lot of estrogen or whatever it is in it. I don't know. Soy's got some shit in it that you're not supposed to have. So, you get up in the morning, you just eat kale. You blend it in with water because you need more water. So you just do a pound of kale with like 3 ounces of water in it. Pour it in a glass. Drink it. And then drink 8 more bottles of water. Not bottles, glasses. You don't want to do the plastic because the plastic's got like CFCs in it or something. And you can't have that. Wraith, that's not weird. You know, it's your body. Do whatever you need to for it. 2 eggs, 2 slices of turkey bacon, and grapefruit. I don't know. Those eggs are full of cholesterol. You might want to switch to egg whites. And even then, those eggs had to come from a farm that had chickens on it. So, you know, there's no good way to eat a meal. And sometimes you just got to take a stand and be like, hey, doc, listen, I know you're trying to help me and make me live longer, but if I have to live a life without any sugar, bread, meat, cheese, or anything, maybe I'd rather die. And that's my right. That's my right as a life-holding person. Also, I'm in a lot of debt, so the sooner I die, the less I have to worry about it. Which isn't necessarily true for me, but it might be for you. He had to gain weight to join the military. Yeah, gaining weight, I can relate to that. I look forward to gaining weight whenever I can, but there will be a day, I think, when weight gain will not be good for me. I'm still waiting on that day. But until then, too skinny. Too skinny, guys. So Jessica, still waiting on you to call in. I saw you had... Wait a second. Oh, there you are. I can't hear you. And I can't see you. Okay, I see you muted yourself for a second. Well, Nini, it's a line you have to draw. I can't tell your doctor that you're ready to go. You know, I can't tell your doctor that you're willing to spend the rest of your life on a respirator because it's not my life to give away. Jessica, if you just want to type your advice thing, if we're having technical problems, then I can address it through the chat. That's fine too. Have children, excellent way to gain weight. So Wraith, if you want to do it that way, great way to gain weight is to, you know, get a baby in there, and that won't cause any other problems at all. Like that's definitely not calling in a cat to kill the mice and a dog to kill the cat and a bear to kill the dog and then a lion to kill the bear. Like, nah, just have kids, bro. It's fine. Oh no, Jessica, you don't have a webcam or a microphone. Jessica, let me know what you want to talk about. We've got another 3 minutes. I might be able to crack through it, and we can go over a little bit too. How can you gain weight while having cats? Don't eat the cats. Maybe just... every morning when you wake up, Wraith, get yourself about 3 more cats. And every morning when you wake up, cover that cat in Cheetos. And whenever you want to pet your cat, you have to pick the Cheetos off of them and eat it. And I think if you keep them sufficiently covered in Cheetos, they'll not only be an effective delivery system, but they'll also be the fuel that you need to just get a little bit more, however you want to look, whether that's voluptuous or I don't know, just to get those extra few ounces on there. You do see what I'm saying. Well, let's see if Jessica... You know what? Actually, it's 12:58. Jessica, let's see if we can get you on next time. If you want to just email me the full question or talk to me through the chat next time we do it, please do. But I'm going to cut it off at this point, and if I do get your question in the next minute or two, I'll just save it for the next broadcast, as I have faith that you'll be here next time. So guys, the moral of the story this broadcast is, don't bring up death. Okay, here's Jessica's question. You cosplay, do you ever see anybody else cosplaying as the original? When you cosplay, do you ever see anybody else cosplaying as original characters? Yes, there are original characters. And that's actually part of the game that I'm making, part of the card game. Is that you have to, it's a card game based on cosplay. And that's one of the choices you have to make is, do you want to be an original character? And if you do, you pay the price of not becoming as popular, but you get credit for being someone who has more artistic integrity. So, if you want to cosplay an original character, go for it. Like, please just do it. Flesh out your character, figure out what exactly they would be wearing, what kind of material, whatever. But when you go to the con, don't expect anything of anyone else. Don't expect them to recognize you. Don't expect them to be excited for you. Don't expect them to even ask questions about who you are. Don't expect them to not tell you that you're somebody else. All you got to be doing is wearing the correct color of suit, and all of a sudden you look like you're in Doctor Who. So, get your costume together, wear it, and then make your decisions, like, about how you want to proceed. Because you'll never really know what cosplaying is like until you've done it. And there's no reason to be afraid of it until you do it. An original character is a tough sell unless you have either a very close resemblance to an existing very popular character, or you're like handing out candy, at which point you'll make a ton of friends. So if you want to stay popular and do the original character, have candy to give out, or some other type of swag, free t-shirts, free anything really, aside from like dog poo covered cigarettes. I think you can make it work. Just dum-dums. Just bring some dum-dums and don't give them to kids that are under 6, because they'll choke on them and die, and then it'll be your fault, and you go to prison, and cosplay will have ruined your life. So that's my advice to you, Jessica. Make sure your character's intriguing, and send me pictures when you've made it. I'd love to know more about your original characters. But until then, let's say our next broadcast time is pending. If you guys see me make an announcement about a 6 p.m. broadcast that's happening before Monday, so be it. And if not, expect the next time this happens to be 6 p.m. on Monday. But until then, until whenever that mysterious time may be, miss you, love you, goodbye. I'm Loki Hates You, and this has been Terrible Advice with Loki Hates You, presented by NerdBot.